I say this to my brothers and sisters every morning when I step foot on my job site. When you join a union, we embrace each other as brothers and sisters. I take pride in saying that they've become my family. Now, my coworkers used to think I was a little crazy because I was so excited to be at work. They would ask me, "Why are you so happy?" My response, because I woke up this morning and I was given another chance. And let me tell you, it's been a long, long journey. My mother died of lung cancer when I was 4, and my father was nowhere to be found. So I was raised by my grandmother in the Bronx. 6 months later, she lost her second daughter, who died of AIDS. My grandmother was left to raise me and my 6 cousins alone, 5 boys and 2 girls. Looking back at my childhood, all I can remember was struggle. My grandmother did the best she could with what she had. There were times we didn't know where our next meal would come from. Our refrigerator and cabinets were always empty. I remember having to split 1 plate of food between the 7 of us. On Christmas, we split 1 Christmas gift. It was a PlayStation. 2 got the remote, 2 got the game, and the rest got the console. When I was 14, my grandmother said that we were moving to Texas for a better life. My aunt came down to help us get settled in. The day before she was supposed to go back to New York is the day I will never forget. My aunt took us out to rent jet skis that morning, and there we were far out on the water when my aunt fell off her jet ski. Her life jacket wasn't working. She began to drown. My cousin held her up while I tried to give her CPR, but she died in my arms. A helicopter came to pull her body from the water, and it was all over the news. When we got back to shore and told my grandmother what happened, I can still hear her screams to this day. 12 hours later, she had to go to the morgue and identify her last daughter. My grandmother was never the same. I couldn't even cry at my aunt's funeral because I was in denial. Right after that, I ran away. I earned my GED and started looking for work. I lived with 5 different relatives. I was searching for a home I couldn't find. One day I was riding the 5 train and I saw an ad for NEW, non-traditional employment for women. It was a woman wearing a hard hat with a jackhammer in her hand. And I was shocked because I didn't know women worked in construction, and I called and enrolled the next day. When I walked into NEW for the first time, it felt like a sanctuary. Not because of the building, but because of the people. NEW helps you with housing and financial aid. They even offer you counseling. My second week of class, I met Linda Young. Linda Young is a counselor for NEW. I found myself talking to her for hours. I remember breaking down. Everything came out. The trauma of my aunt's accident and the battle to survive. Finally, I could breathe. I finished NEW's program in 8 weeks. A few days later, NEW called to say that I had been accepted into the Carpenters Union. I had to borrow $132, and 15 cents from my sister to pay my union dues. By Saturday, I had my first job. New gives you your first tool belt and set of tools, and they tell you, don't go to the job too clean. People will know you just started. So I wrapped tape on my tools, marked them with a black Sharpie, and rubbed dirt on my work clothes. I love you, New. Okay. By Saturday, I had my first job. That first job was on Wall Street, assembling office furniture. I worked 24 hours straight because the office had to be ready for Monday morning. I was paid time and a half for Saturday and double time for Sunday. I paid my sister back, and I had $700 left over for me. And I loved it. Every night I go to bed early just to jump out of bed to get ready for work the next morning. My next job was in a brand new high-rise. Because I was afraid to use the outside hoist elevator, I walked up 40 flights every day for 2 years. And I lost 60 pounds. I spent my life solving problems with no parent to help me. Now, I get to solve a different kind of problem. Like how to remove ceiling tiles at the Whitney Museum so the CIA can check for bombs before the Obamas visit. Oh yeah. Or how to build an Ebola quarantine center at Mount Sinai Hospital. I'm not gonna say it was a piece of cake, because as a woman, you have to work 10 times harder just to prove yourself. There was this one foreman who didn't like women on his job. My coworkers told me that he was gonna fire me. I paid them no mind. I showed up every day saying, "Happy Monday." I gave more than what was expected, and I ran circles around everyone. Then one day, I was framing around a column, and he asked me why I did it like that. I proudly explained, you didn't need to pin the studs at the top because the middle was braced. Can you believe he yelled at me? He told me to do it his way. Let me tell you, that hurt. Because I knew I was right. He was tripping. I went to the bathroom, shed a few tears, brushed it off, came back out, and did it his way. And I kept showing up saying, "Happy Monday." A year later, at the end of the job, the foreman shook my hand and told me what a wonderful job I'd done. He said, "Sis, I was wrong to judge you. I'm sorry." That meant the world to me, because I showed him that women do belong here. And I also proved the people wrong who told me I'd get fired. Last month, I started a new job. I was hired as the first African American female council representative for my union. Not to mention the youngest in my office, y'all, okay? So now, I get to take care of my 20,000 brothers and sisters. When New calls, I drop everything. It's the worst feeling in the world, not having help and guidance when you need it the most. So it's important for me to give back and pave the way for those coming behind me. I talk to young women and men in high schools and at job fairs, and I ask them, how many of you would like to work in construction? Raise your hands. And no one does. And then I pass around my paycheck and ask them again. And then they all raise their hands. People always ask, why am I so happy? Here's what I tell them. Ooh, y'all ready? Oh man. I am 26 years old. I make $110,000 a year. I have a pension and health insurance. I own my own car. I own my own home. I bought a place for my grandmother. Oh yeah, work it out, work it out. There she is over there. There she is. I'm even starting a business with my mentor, Tamara, a line of construction clothing for women. Hold up, hold up. Oh, it's getting good. Like bras that actually support you while you're doing heavy labor. It's real, it's real. I didn't graduate from high school, so I don't have a diploma to hang in my office. But I still have my email letting me know that I was accepted to NU. And I still have the letter from when I joined the union. People don't keep these letters, but I did, because I'm reminded of how blessed I am. So, thank you all for supporting Robin Hood. And thank you, NU, for opening the door to the dreams I always had. And happy Tuesday, everyone.